in a small village nestled beneath the majestic Alps of Switzerland, where endless meadows stretched out under the sky and the church bells echoed through the crisp air, there lived a boy named Luca. Luca was no ordinary boy. In his deep blue eyes burned an ocean of ambition. He dreamed of becoming a scientist, one who would unravel the mysteries of the universe and touch the stars he gazed at from the hilltop on clear nights. Luca possessed a mind as sharp as the wind slicing through mountain stone, a memory that astonished all, and an intelligence that left even the village elders in awe. But Luca carried an invisible wound, a flaw he didn't yet see. He always procrastinated. It was a habit that seemed trivial, yet it was like the cold winds silently melting away the grandest glacier. When his mother, her hands rough from tending the farm, gently reminded him, "Luca, do your homework, don't leave it too late," he'd smile carelessly and say, "Mom, I can do it tomorrow. I want to stargaze tonight." When his father, a clockmaker with eyes full of hope, advised, "Son, learn a skill. Time waits for no one," Luca would shrug. "Dad, I'm still young. There's plenty of time." When his grandmother, her hair white as alpine snow and her voice frail, whispered, "Luca, help me fetch some firewood from the yard," he'd shake his head, eyes glued to his phone. "Grandma, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm busy gaming right now." Instead of picking up a book to explore the cosmos as he dreamed, Luca spent hours by the shores of Lake Geneva near the village, scrolling on his phone, hearing the water lap against the rocks but paying it no mind. He gamed until the moon peeked over the peaks, slept in until the sun bathed the wooden rooftops, and chatted with friends about things that led him nowhere closer to his dreams. In his head, a soothing mantra played on repeat. "There's plenty of time left. I'll enjoy now and figure it out tomorrow." But he didn't know that time was like the winds of the Alps, silent, relentless, and never turning back. The day of reckoning. A dream shattered under silent gazes. One autumn afternoon, as golden leaves drifted down the village paths, the results of the year's most important exam arrived from the high school in Zurich. Luca held the paper in his hands, brimming with confidence. He believed his natural talent would carry him through, despite not cracking a book for months. Then he froze, as if a frigid gust from the peaks had pierced his heart. He failed. Not just failed, he was dead last. His name sat alone at the bottom of the list, a smudged ink stain amid the glowing achievements of his peers. The eyes that once admired him now turned away, cold and distant. His teachers, who had once pinned their hopes on him, shook their heads in quiet disappointment. His parents said nothing, no scolding, no sighs. But their silence weighed heavier than the boulders of the Alps, crushing Luca's chest until he could barely breathe. That night, Luca lay on his wooden bed in the small house, eyes wide, staring at the dusty ceiling. The wind howled through the cracks in the walls, stinging his soul. For the first time, he felt fear, not of the dark or ghost stories, but of himself. What have I done with my dreams? How did I let time slip away like this? The questions clawed at his mind, sharp and unrelenting. The encounter beneath the mountain wind. The next morning, as the first rays of dawn pierced the thick clouds, Luca wandered aimlessly along the trail up the hillside. The wind from the Alps swept down, biting and cold, as if trying to shake him awake from his long slumber. Suddenly he stopped. Beneath an ancient pine tree, its branches woven together to block the sunlight, sat a mysterious old man. He wore a tattered woolen cloak, his bony hands clutching a staff carved with strange patterns. His hair was as white as the snow atop the mountains, but his eyes blazed with a depth that seemed to hold 1,000 years of wisdom. Seeing Luca's lost expression, the old man spoke in a warm, steady voice. "Young one, why are your eyes as dark as the sky before a blizzard?" Luca sank onto the damp grass, his voice breaking. "Sir, I failed. I always thought I had plenty of time to dream, to do things, but now I'm left with nothing." The old man smiled, a gentle smile, yet one laced with profound meaning. From an old cloth sack, he pulled out a curious object, a small glass vial filled with shimmering grains of sand that trickled slowly from top to bottom. "Do you know what this is?" he asked, his voice soft as the breeze rustling the pines. Luca shook his head, mesmerized by the vial. The old man spoke slowly. "This is the flow of a human life. Each grain is a moment, an opportunity. Once it falls, you cannot pick it up again. When it stops, your dreams will vanish like smoke drifting off the peaks." Then he began to tell a story, his voice weaving a tale that pulled Luca into a distant world. Long ago, in a coastal town in Norway, where the roaring waves of the Arctic Ocean crashed against the cliffs and seagulls soared in circles across the grey sky, there lived a young captain named Erik. Erik was no ordinary captain. He possessed an innate talent for reading star charts, steering his ship through the fiercest storms, and a burning ambition to lead his crew to a legendary island rumored to hide the greatest treasure in the world, the Pearl of the Sea, a prize that could bring eternal glory. But Erik had a fatal flaw. He always procrastinated. When his crew urged, "Captain, we need to repair the ship before storm season," he laughed heartily. "I'll start tomorrow. Let me rest for now." When his closest friend, an old navigator, warned, "Erik, if we don't set sail soon, we'll miss the favorable winds," he brushed it off. "There's plenty of time, no rush." When he himself gazed at the night sky and dreamed of the mythical island, he told himself, "I've got a whole lifetime to conquer it. Tomorrow will do." Instead of ordering the anchor raised, Erik spent hours in the harbour tavern, drinking ale, spinning tales of adventure, and watching other ships depart while his heart remained untroubled. One day, as a fiery red sunset stained the sea, a sudden storm struck. The wind howled, waves rose like mountains, and Erik's ship, already worn and neglected from his delays, began to crack. His crew panicked, but Erik, still brimming with confidence, shouted, "Don't worry, I'll get us through this storm." But he was wrong. The ship lurched in the black, churning waters, its masts snapping in two, wooden planks torn away by the current. In his final moment, as a colossal wave crashed down, Erik glimpsed a faint, shimmering light in the distance, the legendary island, so close he could almost feel its breath. But then everything sank into darkness. The ship went down. Not a single crew member survived. When the wreckage washed ashore, they found a sodden scrap of paper clutched in Erik's hand, bearing a scrawled message. "I had everything, but I let time steal it all away." The legendary island remained out there, untouched, but Erik never reached it. His dream vanished beneath the icy depths, lost to the days he let slip by in vain. Luca sat motionless, his heart pounding. The old man's words crashed into him like waves against a cliff, fierce and undeniable. He stared at the glass vial in the old man's hand, the sand falling steadily, ceaselessly. Each grain was a warning. Time waits for no one. Dreams are not for those who hesitate. "Sir," Luca choked, tears streaming down his cheeks. "Do I still have a chance? Can I start over?" The old man rested a frail hand on Luca's shoulder, his gaze kind and steady. "You can, but only if you begin right now. The sand still falls, but it won't fall forever." Then he vanished, like a gust of wind from the peaks, leaving Luca clutching the shimmering vial. The boy who reached the stars. From that day, Luca transformed. He rose with the dawn as it broke over the Alps, diving into his books as if each page were a star waiting to be claimed. He cast aside the endless gaming, tossed his phone away, and spent his hours fetching firewood for his grandmother, talking with his parents, and charting the path to his dreams. He planned every day, every hour, like a scientist mapping the cosmos. Success didn't come instantly, but it arrived like sunlight after a blizzard. Luca became the top student in his school, and one day he stood on a stage in Geneva, accepting a prestigious scholarship to study astrophysics. Years later, now a renowned scientist, Luca stood beneath the night sky atop the Alps, gazing at the stars he once dreamed of touching. In his hand was the old glass vial, its sand nearly gone. He smiled, his heart full of gratitude, not just for what he'd achieved, but for not letting time slip away again. What will you do with your grains of sand? Luca's story isn't just a tale. It's a wake-up call, a bell ringing in the heart of us all. Time is a priceless treasure, but it doesn't wait for you. Dreams only come true when you take a step today. Look at your own glass vial. The sand is falling grain by grain. Will you let it spill away into nothing, or will you turn each moment into a star in the sky of your life? Act now or regret forever. What will you choose?